What a beautiful day, man. This is gorgeous. It's chilly, but it's like 8 degrees, which here in Canada is pretty warm. There's a seal. Wonder if I'll see him out there. If I do, it's not intentional. How's it going, everybody? Look where I am. My old stomping grounds here in Tsawwassen, BC. I got a dive light, the Xtar Hunter, I believe is the model, given to me to review. I get to try it out, and I'm gonna do that right now. It's later in the day. It's almost 3 o'clock. Sun's going down-ish. Still should be brightish in the water though, and honestly, the darker it is, the better review I'll be able to do for this torch. The whole idea is to illuminate the water, and it's looking like good visibility. We got that winter viz going on. Today I think it got to a high of 7, and this evening it's going to be -1. With cold water comes algae die-offs, so the water visibility improves. But I'm gonna get right into it because I don't want to be filming this review in the pitch black. So here it is, the Xtar DH1 1600 ultra narrow beam high lumen spearfishing flashlight. They are making this one specific for hunting, which is pretty dope. Dive boldly, hunt brilliantly. As you can see there, 1600 lumens. This one just has one setting, 5-degree beam, so extremely narrow, but a pretty solid distance. They're saying 355 meters, which I find hard to believe in our water, but maybe if you have crystal clear viz. Not likely here in BC though. Okay, so let's open this bad boy up and see what it comes with. You got the charger, which also comes with the USB-C adapter for the charger. The battery it comes with is a lithium ion 4900 milliamp hour battery, which should offer plenty of juice and long run times. The torch is pretty stylish, got that blue, I guess, rubber collar you would call it. Seems pretty sturdy, pretty robust. No complaints with the feel of it, that's for sure. This is protected with 2 O-rings. The other torch I have has 3, but 2 should be plenty. The green sea that I've been using for 4 years only has 2 O-rings, and haven't any issues with that one. So yeah, plenty of protection for sure. The light also comes with a wrist lanyard, a couple of backup O-rings, spare on-off switch, and it comes with the instruction manual, which I'd highly recommend reading through. Not just this torch, but any torch or any product that you're using. The light is extremely easy to operate. You just click the button on and off. If you twist this 90 degrees, you also lock it, so you're not going to turn it on accidentally in your dive bag. Something else you can do is you can turn it on and you can lock it. So I suppose if you're cave diving, you won't accidentally disengage it and go pitch black all of a sudden, so that's a nice feature. One thing I do question though is there is no instructions in the manual to replace this little switch. Makes me wonder if it's an afterthought. Possibly they were failing, so they put a backup in there. I would like to know how to replace this, and I am curious as to why it included an extra switch, because none of my other torches did. But either way, it still feels like a solid unit. Hopefully it lasts. That I will not be able to tell you today, but maybe I'll post a follow-up in the comments. Either way, it feels nice. This is something I personally like. This only has one setting, just goes right to 1600 lumens. When I'm diving, I'd say 99.99% of the time, I'm always blasting high beam on all my torches. The one exception is if I do a night dive and I'm at the surface, I don't want to kill my battery, so I might put it on a low setting, and then when I dive down, I'm back to like full blasting. But realistically, I've done 1 or 2 night dives in the last, I don't know, 4 years, so it's not a common occurrence for me. So definitely not a deal breaker. Something else that I really like about this torch is you can use it in the water and out of the water, so it's amphibious. Most dive torches, they get extremely hot if you use them out of the water, but this one has a thermostat in it, so if it is getting extremely warm, it starts dimming down to prevent damage. I've already used this actually when I was exploring a cave, and I didn't have to worry about damaging my light. So this is going to be very useful for that reason. Given the beam, I like a wider beam. It probably will not be my go-to light, or for sure won't be my go-to light, but it's one that I'm going to leave in my vehicle and probably lend out to friends. But regardless, this is a hunting light specific for spearfishing, not so much a filming light. So if that's your intended purpose, then there's absolutely nothing wrong with having a narrow beam. But we'll see how it performs in the water, so hang tight. According to the instructions, this has a 2.5 hour burn time. I'm not going to test that today. The water's extremely cold here. I would be surprised if it went to the full extent in, I don't know, 6 degrees Celsius water. Maybe in the tropics you're getting 2.5 hours, but honestly 2 hours is plenty, and I'm sure it will last that at least. Now, I don't plan on diving to 100 meters any day soon, but this is rated to up to 100 meter depth. For me, wild breath hold, free diving and spearfishing, I'm not pushing usually 15 meters most of the time. So depth for me on all torches isn't a concern at all. I forgot to note, this torch is extremely cheap. Like for the weight of it, the quality of it, extremely cheap. I think it's like $100. That might be US dollars. Don't quote me on that. I'll post a link in the comments and in the description. But I do remember researching it, and it's extremely budget. For the quality that I'm seeing so far, again, I haven't tested it out there, I'm actually really impressed with this light. This was not included with the light, but I did request Xtar to hook up a hand strap, a wrist strap. This one seems pretty solid as well. They're all pretty generic. Some just have the elastic band on there, but this one you should be able to cinch nice and tight. When you are using a wrist strap, make sure you do use the lanyard. I would never trust the light just to stand there. Give it a solid flick of the wrist and there goes your torch. So have the redundancy, have that wrist strap and lanyard all used as one solid unit. And I think it's about time I get in the water. I'm sure there's some stuff I forgot to discuss, so I will do so with a voiceover. Wish me luck. I'm gonna look for some crab. I can't eat crab, but my wife can, and it's a hunting light, so I might as well make use of its proper purpose. Let's go for it. As soon as I jumped in, I played around with the on and off button. It was extremely easy to operate, no issues at all. And for me, I like how it just has the one setting. I know I said that already, but you go right to 1600 lumens, don't have to toggle through a bunch of light settings that you're not going to use, so I really enjoyed that. I typically don't use a narrow beam, especially one as narrow as 5 degrees. The light I have right now that I use on a day-to-day, it goes from 8 degrees to 76 degrees. If I want to film, I can have a nice wide beam, illuminate everything in front of me, and go back to 8 degrees if I'm hunting and hole hunting for like lingcod and rockfish. I can see the benefits of having a really narrow beam though. It cuts through the water like no tomorrow, which is great. The visibility wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. I'm not saying it was bad, but it was a bit murky and the torch got through the muck, no problem whatsoever. I was swimming along the eelgrass and I came across this hooded nudibranch, and you can tell like I got it on camera, but the lighting wasn't perfect, and that's due to the narrow beam. While freediving, I usually turn my light off when I'm at the surface, but for the purpose of this exercise, I'm going to leave it on the whole entire time. I only have parking for 2 hours. I've been on the water for about 10 minutes. I was on the shore for about 20. So if it lasts an hour and a half, I'd be pretty pumped on that. Plus I was using it above water in that cave and I haven't charged it since, so I technically don't even have a full charge. We'll see what happens. By the way, Xtar gave me this torch to review. They didn't tell me what to say. I have like 5 lights. I used to sell dive torches for that matter. I didn't need the light. I just like making these review videos. It helps Xtar out. I'm happy that they reached out to me. I appreciated that. And it's good experience for me making these review videos, getting out of my regular niche. So you're getting honest review, honest feedback from me. I wasn't pressured to say anything but my honest opinion. The torch definitely made it easier to find crabs, especially with the sun going down. I couldn't really see too much, but I'd just keep an eye on where the beam was on the bottom of the ocean, and I'd see movement here and there, and I'd swim down and find a crab. So I do credit a lot of these crabs that I found to the torch. Unfortunately, the ones I was finding weren't of legal size though, so I just threw them back. That's usually the case. Finding a crab's the easy part. Finding a keeper-sized crab, that's another story. I would have liked to bring this light spearfishing, but it's not the season in British Columbia right now. I will bring it out with me another day and maybe give it another go, but I don't see this light having any issues hole hunting. With the narrow beam, you can shoot deep into a rock or crevice. I try to simulate that with the rocks you see on the bottom. But yeah, it 100% wouldn't have any problem spearfishing. Again, not trying to be redundant, but as a video light, it's nearly impossible to get good lighting. But it's not a video light, it's a spearfishing light. But you can see here with these little snails, yeah, I wasn't really getting any good footage. For me, having the adjustable beam is the best of both worlds, and that's why I like the light with the zoomable feature, but teach their own. I left my caliber on shore, crab caliber. I thought I had a keeper. These guys were looking pretty hefty, but when you're picking up a bunch of small ones, sometimes looks can be deceiving. We'll see. The torch has a battery life indicator. Forget to mention that on shore. It's green if it's full. Once it turns red, you get 30 minutes left. When it starts flashing red, you're down to the last 10 minutes. And yeah, get out of the water because your torch is gonna die, at least on a night dive or if you're cave diving. So for me, after using a bunch of different torches and selling them at one point for that matter, I speculate they're all made in the same place. They all have the same familiar feel and similar features. I could be wrong, and when I say all, I don't mean literally all of them, but I'm sure a lot of them are just made in the same place. Online, I found this model as cheap as $120 Canadian. That's shipping, and I believe taxes included, which is like amazing value for what you get. What makes this light stand out for me is the extremely low price and solid quality, and the fact that it's amphibious. Being able to use it in and out of the water without worrying about your light overheating and damaging it is excellent value right there. By the way, I was in the water for a little over an hour, probably an hour and 20, and the light was still green, so plenty of juice left. Stick around though for a few final words, and you'll see if the USB-C direct battery is compatible with this light, and see if overall that's something that you really want, and if this torch will do it for you. I got a bit of bad news. The crabs, they were undersized. They were just like a millimeter under. Sorry, Jasmine, but good news. The torch held it down. I thought it did a really good job. It was extremely bright. The 5-degree beam isn't what I'm used to. I tried filming some, what are they, dog winkles, those little periwinkle shells, and I couldn't get any good footage. The beam is too narrow and too bright. But for hunting, it was great. I would be right up at the surface, shooting down at the bottom, and it actually helped me find a few crabs. Now, typically I turn the light off when I'm at the surface to save battery, so that's not something I'd be doing all the time, but for like the price, you can't go wrong. It's a really, really solid rig. Again, full disclosure, this is my first time using it in the water. I don't have a whole lot of experience with it. I don't know if it's gonna last. I'd assume it will. The only thing that I'm a bit reluctant on is the little switch. The fact that they gave a second one is a bit of a red flag to me, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just being paranoid, and you know, things do break. It's the reality, things do break, so maybe they're just being proactive and hooking up an extra in case you drop it or something, for all I know. Yeah, solid unit. Thanks, Xtar. I like that name. Xtar. Xtar, I think I'm saying it right. The Hunter D160 or something like that. Solid rig for the price. I'm rambling now. I'm definitely rambling. It's not going to be my go-to, but it will be my backup. It's going to hang out in my vehicle. Probably due to the fact that I can use it above water in case I ever break down in the middle of the evening. I got that as a backup, and in case I forget my dive torch, I have it as a backup. Now, before you sign off, just hang tight, because I want to see if the USB-C direct battery will work in this light, so I'm going to find out once I dry off. I'm cold. Here's the direct USB-C battery I was referring to. Really nice feature. I can just plug it in, and the verdict is it works. Yeah. And the battery I threw in there is 5,000 milliamp hour compared to the, I think, 4,900, so not a huge difference. But it is compatible, which is cool so far anyways. So if that's like one of the deal breakers for you, just order up yourself an extra battery that has the direct USB-C. Cool. Well, thanks for watching. Solid torch. I'd stand by it. Peace and love, everyone.